And a good morning. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. I'm here with the Executive Vice President of the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, for Remember. He's got on the red power tie this morning. I don't even think I've got a power tie. Don't think.
Yeah, you do.
I ain't got a whole lot of ties, period.
Kim said you do.
And I get real expensive if I have to put one on. I'll go ahead and tell you. I don't wear ties much. I had a tie on this Sunday because I had to go speak. 2 of the last 4 Sundays I've spoke at local churches on behalf of the Gideons. And I always tell this story when I'm there. A lot of times they'll introduce me. Hey, this is Lanny Ford. He's from Maiden. And I like to get up there and clarify that from the beginning. Excuse me. I live in Maiden. I am from Krause. I am Lincoln County by birth and Catawba County by marriage.
I am from Krause.
Let nobody make no mistake of that. So I'm standing at the back of the church and meeting some of the folks that are coming in, and this lady comes up to me, and she says, I know you, and I know your name. Aren't you from Maiden? I said, oh, wait, no, hold on. I live in Maiden, but I'm a West Lincoln County boy. Okay, you know my son. I said, well, who's your son? And you know who her son was? Nikki Basil.
Oh, yeah.
I said, gosh, I've known Nikki. I played against Nikki back in the day.
Long time.
Yeah. And then we got to talking after church, and I said, I bet you I can tell you somewhere else you remember me from. I said, didn't Nikki just go into the Sports Hall of Fame, Lincoln County? She said, yes. I said, well, I MC that. I said, I've done it for the last 3 years. So cool. And I said, that's probably where you saw me too. But I said, you tell him that I said hello. She said, I'll see him here in just a little bit. I said, okay. Fantastic. Tell him I said hello. No, I've always liked Nikki. Nikki's kind of like Bobby Dale. He may be Nick Basil now, and Bobby Dale may be Bobby Reynolds. No, he's still Bobby Dale, and he's still Nikki. Anyway, he sliced it to me. That's the only way I knew him. So that's just the way that works. But glad to have you guys along with us here this morning. A lot of stories are breaking. A lot of things, of course, in the NFL. The big story this morning, Carson Wentz is on the open market. He was released by the Commanders yesterday. Morning, Milton. Good morning, Richie.
Yeah.
And
good guy. He really is a good guy.
The problem right now is there are some NFL quarterbacks that are out there, but they're not franchise quarterbacks.
That's it.
There's 32 teams, and there's 32 NFL quarterbacks, but there's really only about 10 to 15 top-tier quarterbacks that are out there.
Yeah.
Now, we'll just have to see, but Carson Wentz has been released after one season. Now, we'll see what's going to happen with the Washington Redskins. I don't think they go in next season as with their starting quarterback, as much as I like him, being Taylor Heineke. I don't know who it's going to be.
Bryce Young, they're going to trade up and get Bryce.
I don't know. I don't know.
And then I think the Bears, Garrick was telling me when I was dropping him off at school, that the Bears have named Fields their franchise quarterback. So that's out.
No, right here, sources say the Bears still leaning towards moving the top pick.
Yeah. Well, did they name? Garrick said they named.
Let's see what this is.
And that they're going to take not the quarterback, but the is it Will Anderson or whoever?
The kid out of Florida.
No, the defensive end outside.
Okay. Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm just talking out loud. He was he hit me with he inundated me with like 6 days of information in like a minute and a half when I was dropping him off at school. It was insane. He'd been up since like 6 o'clock this morning studying stuff and looking.
You know, here's the thing, and I listened to Cowherd talk about, yes, thank God Dan Patrick and Cowherd are back. Yeah. But, you know, the new, I guess, operating model for NFL franchises is unless you have that Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen kind of quarterback, what they were saying, what he was saying that the Bears need to do is they need to trade Justin Fields because some of those quarterbacks that are in this year's draft that they could take with that number one, have basically the same skill set. They're not really long-term 12, 15-year quarterbacks because they're not big, not the big arm, all those kind of things. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to reset your your salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal that allows you to spend your money in other places. So if you're going to have to pay Justin Fields if you're going to keep him. So why would you do that if he's really not that long-term answer?
But is he?
I don't think so. I don't think he's got.
But this is the thing about it. I don't disagree with you. I'm just kind of saying, based on where things are. But what was everyone talking about last year at this time, all the way through the third week of the season? How good Zach was going to be for the Jets,
yep.
and
Zach
how
Miller.
good Trey Lance was going to be for
Zach
the 49ers.
Wilson.
Zach Wilson, and then Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
All this is so speculative when in reality, and I was telling Gary, I said, Gary, all this is great. I said, but and Gary was even saying, hey, Bryce Young could end up with the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real possibility. I said, yes, it is. I said, but when you have a struggling franchise, do you want to go ahead and draft a rookie quarterback with nobody around him, or do you want to bring in somebody, a veteran, that has NFL experience like a Carson Wentz, okay, not to be this dynamic, here we go, but to bring some stability and locker room experience to try to start, bringing your unit together and then building out from that. And what was interesting was Gary looked at me and said, he said, Dad, the fastest guy and one of the best players that the Chiefs had got traded last year. Talking about Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
He said, but yet they still won the Super Bowl. How is that? I said, son, that is a life lesson. You have to focus on quality and value, not just the spurt of something, okay? Everything is a cohesive component when you're looking at winning championships and not games.
Right.
And that's the difference. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is this is the whole discussion with who's the what quarterback's going to where, why should we keep this guy, why should we not, based on this money over here and that money. Yes, it is a business, and you have to run it as such. But when you look at it from the purse strings instead of from the continuity of things, when you look at it from a money standpoint first and a continuity second, you're always going to be second or later, in your division. Always. Not going to change. So I don't know.
Well, the philosophy has changed because the cost of quarterbacks has gotten so expensive
but
that if you
crazy.
don't have one that can and here's the thing, and you know this like I do, and you've got two styles or two types of quarterbacks, and this depends on what you put around them.
Right.
And that is, do I have a quarterback that can put the team on their back, or do I have a quarterback that can only take me so far? I've got to put the pieces around him to get to that next level.
Absolutely.
But you got to have one or the other. You can't have that. You can't have that quarterback that can't put the team on the back and not have the pieces around him. Not have a number one receiver. Not have a top 10 defense.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
And to go even deeper, what does putting the team on your back mean? Does that mean that you run the football? Does that mean you throw it? Or does that mean
you create?
Or does that mean you are a distributor?
That's correct.
Through your experiences.
You create.
And what's happened is so many people, all right, and right, wrong, or indifferent, which I think has worked out not to be right, but right, wrong, or indifferent, they're trying to take a position and make it more dynamic in the NFL to make it mirror high school and college, which is absolutely insane because of the speed of the game on the other side of the ball. I'm having a hard time figuring out how people on the offensive side of the football at that level and with that thinking don't understand that one component. Not only are they faster on the defensive side of the ball in most cases, but they also are extremely disciplined, and that's why they play defense and not offense, okay? Not to say offensive players aren't disciplined. I'm talking about the skill set of the defensive ends, outside linebackers. It's very interesting to me, and that is such a good point to bring up. What type of quarterback, and then what is your philosophy with your organization with that quarterback? I dare say the reason Tom Brady's the GOAT And people can say Joe Montana, another. That's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, what is the dude's got
modern day GOAT.
The dude's got 87 Super Bowls. Okay,
Yeah.
he could survive in
correct.
the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. I mean, he survived in all of them. Okay, so that's whatever. But the point is, they didn't make that at New England the most dynamic position. They made it a distribution-only position that allowed the most disciplined person in football to make decisions.
But the other reason
besides the head coach
that Tom Brady lasted, okay, and the reason that Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Cam Newton,
and Josh Allen, if he don't stop running.
Yeah. Because that body's only going to take so much. And that's what I was saying about Justin Fields. If you've got a quarterback, they were talking about yesterday about McCaffrey being the same way. The reason McCaffrey's career has been extended is they've taken the pounding away and put him somewhere and utilizing other skills.
Right.
But Derrick Henry, he can only do one thing.
And
when that body wears out, it's over.
Yeah,
you can't put him in a slot.
But he knows that.
Understand?
And no, to your point, that is position specific.
And that's why you don't put a ton of money in running backs and give them that second big contract. But quarterbacks are the same way, and that's why I don't understand Chicago. Won 3 games last year. Justin Fields is not a big arm. He hates the cold weather of Chicago. He was the first one to tell you that. I hope they build a dome up here. Well, and Cal Hurt was talking about yesterday, the quarterbacks that have survived in those kind of environments have got the big arms, the Terry Bradshaws, the Tom Brady's in his heyday, Josh Allen, the big arm quarterbacks. And it's been hard to do it. Now, let me give you a couple comments. Good morning, Mark. Mark said that you look like a CBS News anchor with your glasses on.
CBS, baby.
Yeah. Richie said Snyder won't let Bezos bid on Washington. I want to talk about that later. I got a whole comment thing about that. Milton said Wentz is a good guy, but he's not a starting quarterback.
Yeah, right.
He's a starting quarterback, but he can't win you a Super Bowl.
Right.
In my opinion.
Who said that? Who was that?
Milton.
Yeah, that's a great point. And he is a guy that is a very strong 1A or number 2,
yes.
Right? But if you're, to my point, if you were a struggling franchise, all right, he's not a bad he is the right person to get in the locker room to help start bringing things together, right? And then you maybe draft a younger guy to come
school
on
him under,
or because he's a good he's made so many mistakes and done it and had so many trials and tribulations. It's not about what you do right. It's about learning from the mistakes.
Yeah. And he's got to have a lot of tools around him to be successful.
He does.
I mean,
he doesn't,
but
but he's not going to lose his mind, and that's my whole point.
Milton said the Taters have Sam Howell.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm good with that.
Andrew said, I saw it reported last night that the Bears are planning to trade their first pick. Yeah, we'll have to see. And you're probably right. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Right. Richie said that's one reason that Washington let Wentz go. It dropped almost $30 million. I think it was 26.7 was the number that I saw. Yeah. Mark said the Taters do not have much in Sam Howell, another overhyped, overrated UNC quarterback. He is, but he's not a quarterback that can put the team on his back.
Well,
he's a distributor.
But we don't know that yet because he has all the intangibles with the pedigree in the home and the extension of the family. I think, without getting into the NC State, Carolina, and I'm not, whatever. I went to East Carolina.
I ain't got a dog in the fight.
Hate everybody.
I got a good team down south of the border that wants to leave the ACC.
But the thing about it is like I still feel like Trubisky, is a guy that's much like Wentz that has some value there based on the experiences, that have happened.
He's got to be in the right situation.
And he's a strong-arm guy just like Hal is. I think this is a TBA or TBD, to be decided, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of those. And, Mark's got a good point. There wasn't a lot of, wow factor after all this was done with either Trubisky or who he had talked about, Howell. Mm-hmm. But I think it may still be seen with Sam Howell because his sophomore year –
I want to see more.
His sophomore year in college was indicative of his freshman, sophomore, of who he is. and he tried to be the playmaker instead of the distributor in the junior year, right? And that didn't work out so well because that's not what you have to do. What your expertise are and what you are capable of doing.
But you have to be able to fairly evaluate who you are and be okay with that.
And so do your coaches. And they didn't do that with him at UNCA. They tried, or UNC Chapel Hill. They tried to make him the playmaker and get away from that distribution phase of things, and it didn't bode so well.
Okay, let me go back. Brian Huss, hope you're feeling okay, bud. I know you're going through a lot of treatments right now, but glad to see you here on this morning. Richie said, but Derrick Henry could bench press you while he's running over you, which is important. Andrew said, I'd love to see Derrick Henry in the slot. Heck, he might be fast enough to actually play it, but I don't think he's got those soft-touch hands would be the other problem, I believe. Mark said, Mr. Rivert, can you say what he please I want to say about Mr. Howell being a good quarterback, but Mr. Rivert will be wrong. I will eat my NC State bowl cap if I'm proven wrong down the road. Well, we'll have to see. The jury's still out. Now, I thought Sam Howell, he was an improvement, but I don't think he's a quarterback that can take the Taters to the next level. He can improve the team.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, Mark, he might very well be right. But what I'm saying is, based on what I saw when he was a freshman and sophomore in college, with the things he had around him, he has some of those similarities at Washington, and I would kind of like to see how that plays itself out. And Ron Rivera's got really good instincts when it comes to how to put pieces together, and so we'll see.
Let me take a break. Rich, I'm going to get your comment in just a minute. A couple things. Juju and I talked about it late last night in the show. Clemson, Florida State are pushing for even distribution. Isn't it amazing? The college football conferences would like to get out of the socialist world. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Tuesday morning, 59 degrees. Short sleeves and shorts. Life is good. Welcome to retirement. And I'm not really retired. I work just as much now as I did then.
More.
I just can
Different
call my
form.
shots a little bit.
It's
It's a little bit different when it's yours.
Yeah.
You had a whole different perspective on it.
100%
Yeah.
different.
So let me go back and catch some comments and some things just to kind of get into it. Richie's comment and Bezos.
Has there ever been an NFL quarterback from Carolina or State that was – well, yeah, you could say that Phillip Rivers was. I was going to say that was better than Jeff Blake at East Carolina that played for Cincinnati. But you could say that Phillip Rivers is.
I'm going to give you another – I'm a Cowherd disciple.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to give you another Cowherd thing here that he talks about. Cowherd is a big proponent and feels like the quarterbacks that don't come from the premier schools do better in the NFL because a lot of the premier schools, like in Alabama's got more talent around a quarterback than most of the NFL franchises.
That's a very good point.
With receivers and backs and offensive lines, and you know what I'm saying.
That's a very good point.
So when you look at people, and one of the reasons I say that, because one of the quarterbacks he brought up was Phillip Rivers. He didn't have that kind of tools around him at NC State.
Right.
So, and he was telling all that to talk about this quarterback out of Kentucky. He's the one you need to be looking at because of what he accomplished with less tools. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
And so that's why he was saying Josh Allen and Herbert and Aaron Rodgers when he was at Cal and even Tom Brady to some extent.
Well, because Brady got snubbed so many times at Michigan, they kept trying to put Drew Henson in. And yet Brady still – no, I get it. And, what Mark was saying about the UNC quarterbacks, I started thinking about, Duke and then, of course, Wake and, of course, NC State, right? I kept thinking, okay, who would – but that Phillip Rivers to me would be the one that was better than Jeff Blake. Okay, but I'm really –
Now, Clemson has had a couple. Steve Fuller played on the Super Bowl Bears.
Yeah, he was a good team. He's a good team.
And, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a player. Whether you like it or not. He's going to be a player.
Yeah, well,
and Deshaun Watson, like him or not like him,
I still don't.
I know.
And it's not him. I just really never. I don't know.
And Milton said, and also don't forget Russell Wilson, because he was good at State too before he went to Wisconsin.
Yeah, before the coach told
you can't play baseball.
Mike Glennon went to him and said, "I'm leaving if you don't."
Yeah.
If you don't, if I'm not starting quarterback next year, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm. Mike Glennon's been starting quarterback at so many places in the NFL. Milton says, as long as the Taters have the dysfunction in the front office, they will not have success on the field. Well, once they can get this sold. Now, and I told Ford this, two things I want to get into. I want to get them into Bezos, and I want to get into the revenue sharing thing.
Okay.
The Bezos thing, and I'm not sure how this works. I thought that the owners were just allowed to own the teams in the NFL, but the NFL still controls the teams pretty much. Okay? So Bezos, my understanding is Bezos put a value in the bidding if he wanted at least $6 billion. I think there were a couple of bids came in. The highest was 5.5. Now, Bezos would probably pay over $6 billion, and they were talking about this yesterday. This may be the only thing that he can afford to buy it, but can't buy it because they won't sell it to him. He's worth over $100 billion, so him being able to do that. Now, one of the other points that Cowherd made yesterday was, when does the NFL ownership get involved with that and say, wait a minute, if Bezos comes in and pays $6 or over $6, every franchise value just went up because the value of that one kind of reset the market. Yeah. So the owners are going to say, and the other side of it is, why would you not want somebody like a Jeff Bezos as an owner?
Well, well, no, that's a good question. But the flip side of that, there may be some reasons you don't. You know, and again, there's a yin and a yang for everything. And also, I think if you overvaluate something that much, then it's very unlikely that other people are going to step in or corporations are going to step in and buy franchises. So it's going to be hard to sell. So, you know, because something's worth something, if you can extract equity out of it, but to ever sell it, that it may be too much. I don't know. These are all really good questions, you know, for this. And, you know, a lot of times when someone, imagine like, let's see, who's this? Former President Trump, right? He's the CEO of business, whatever. I think he was in the USFL at one time.
He was.
All right, let's say, forget he was ever president, okay? And let's say he is, but all the stuff that follows him or whatever is not near as bad. It's kind of like Bezos. They have a lot of money and wealth and prestige, right?
And baggage.
And sure,
yeah.
And then they come in and they purchase these franchises for much more than what they're truly worth. Well, when another franchise tries to maybe make a sale or is intended to sell based on whatever reason they have, whether they've got to get out of it for whatever reason or, you know, it's run its course, whatever, there's much less likely that other people corporations will come in and pay, you know, for that. And the baggage part of things, you know, just because money's attached to something doesn't mean that there's not something behind it.
But my whole thing
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but my whole thing is with any sports franchise, and we'll tell you about the Milwaukee Bucks are selling 25%. One of the co-owners of the Bucks is selling his ownership part, which is 25%, to Jimmy and Dee Haslam, who own the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I was going to say, though, when you talk about professional sports franchises, can you really come up with a realistic number of what the value of a professional sports franchise is
You're talking
worth?
About being able to quantify
Yeah, I mean,
it.
how would you be able to set that value? You
you
don't have comps.
No, it's a great point. It's a great point, but you know there are metrics and numbers to your point that are put together. But then inherently, it's like anything else. It's only worth what someone's willing to pay for.
That's correct.
So in the case of the Washington football team, all right,
Taters,
you know, if somebody's wanting to come in and pay 2 or 3 times over maybe what the franchise is really worth, then that skews the metrics.
Skews the market.
To your point, how do you price it appropriately?
The only thing they've got to set values on franchises is what did the last one sell for, much like how much is the next quarterback's contract worth. It's worth more than the one that was given to the last quarterback because he's next man up, which is not good.
No, it's not. And the agents did their jobs for their clients.
Yeah. You
know, and the crazy thing about it is people say they shouldn't make that much money. Well, that may be –
you make all the money you make.
That may be third person here. That may be your opinion. But, you know, people get what the market pays for based on what they bring to the table.
That's correct.
The amount of money is not really what is the focus here on the people that are providing the service. It is the quality in which they provide the service that's the focus, and the money seems to follow. So, I don't know. I just really believe that whether you're an organization or an individual person, all right, in the only way you can improve things is to improve things internally first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think you have to look at quality and value inside the individual person, what it means to an organization, all right, doing the right thing for right reasons, and then try to build out from there.
But look at the Panthers. Look at the Panthers. The Panthers got bought by a guy that had plenty of money, was the richest owner in the league at one point, okay, and had come as a minority owner for one of the historically sound franchises in the league with Steelers, and he still screwed it up. So there's no guarantees when you do that. Now, I want to give Milton's comment because I love this comment. Wouldn't it be great to see the Taters playing in the Amazon Dome? The Taters could be playing in the Amazon Dome. Yeah. I like that. Richie said, shouldn't your goal to be able to sell for as much money as possible? That what we did when we sold our house. The problem with the Taters and Bezos is Bezos owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post is the one that exposed a lot of this crap that was going on. So there's some and I don't think the league's going to let that stand. I'm going to be honest with you. Not if it hurts the league. Nothing hurts the shield.
Let me tell you something, and people can say about Roger Goodell what they want to, but he has built the NFL.
I don't like him, but he has done it. Yeah,
built the NFL into the mega market cap, whatever, by protecting the owner's interest while working with the Players Association, okay? He's protected the owners.
Yep. No, I agree.
And he has done it. But I will tell you that, people, you think owners, players, the bad guys, good guys, vice versa, whatever. That's not necessarily true. I inherently believe that they are all really good people, okay? Now, they may have some things that – I say all, most of them are. They may have some things that are going on here or there, but the people that work, for them and in their organizations, are trying to make things functional, right? And when you have that underbelly – along with someone that's as stern as Goodell is. I mean, they tried to run him off 3 or 4 times. He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
You can say
all this stuff you want to say about me, call me this, say, you didn't do that, you didn't look out for this, and he's one of those guys that basically, told him, look, you can have your opinions about things that happened in this league in the past, but just like me, you don't own history. I'm not responsible for things that I didn't do.
There's a reason, they're paying him $56 million a year.
But what I'm saying is he stood, steadfast and strong, and he got there, and he works well with the players union. He does. You never hear about, I can't stand Goodell. He doesn't do that. I mean, he knows where the product is, but he has to take care of the people that are providing the product.
That's right.
It's in order.
Yep.
And as bad as that, may sound or whatever, it's truth. And, it's crazy. I had a friend of mine send me something this morning. Well, I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, they've done a good job with it.
Revenue sharing in college football, the socialist approach, okay? Let me give you this. SEC schools will get $49.9 million apiece from the conference.
Yeah,
nobody's going to tell me Alabama and Georgia shouldn't get a bigger piece of that pie than a Vanderbilt or a Kentucky when it comes from the money coming in from the football. Florida State Athletic Director Michael Alford told his Board of Trustees on Friday that something has to change.
That's ridiculous.
When it comes to closing the growing revenue gap with other conferences.
Why does Syracuse get that money? Why?
A sign that one of the biggest brands in the ACC is unhappy. Now, the issue is the ACC will fall behind the SEC and Big Ten in revenue by about $30 million per year when the new television contracts kick in. Okay? Something has to change because we cannot compete nationally being $30 million behind every year. It's not 1 year. You're talking about $30 million compounded year after year. Now, we were talking about this last night. how does Clemson and a Florida State get out of it? Their contract runs through 2036 because the ACC's locked into that deal.
Anything you want
and do
to
you
do.
know what I told Juju? I said, tell me the one thing that you know is for certain about a contract.
It can be broken.
It can be broken. That's all. It's a
doesn't
piece of
matter.
paper. Yeah.
And the thing about it is, okay, pay $100 million to stop losing basically 30 a year if you think about it.
Yeah.
Not only are they, are they losing 30 trailing the other two, but they're losing 30 because of their market cap. This is it. I would dare. I would say, okay, that you have a conference that all teams in the conference would be sure we all need to contribute some to the overall cause of the conference. We want stability and growth. If a team does have a down year, maybe one of the smaller schools, private schools that maybe doesn't have the fan base or the following, if they are down a little bit, we want to have we want to have contributions that go into that fund that help, keep things, up, okay, provide resources, services, those kind of things to make the overall quality of the league strong. It's good for football. It's good for the league. However, you don't take all the money and then just start chopping it. I mean, that's what happens in the simplest form of that, and why it doesn't work is you have all these kids in a class, and basically the professor says, look, we're going to take an average of what everybody did, and that's the grade everybody's going to get. Well, the kid that studied their tail off that made 100 on the test, and the kid that didn't do anything show up.
The bell curve.
But that's what I'm saying. That basically what happens is you have people that are putting the effort and the quality and the experience into it, and trying to take it to the next level. But yet they're sitting there running, the hamster race.
Yeah.
That is not the way things, And again, I do believe that all those schools that are making that, higher amounts of money, whatever revenues, would be glad to do some revenue sharing. I don't think they have a problem with that, but to do it the way it's being done? Nah.
Andrea Adelson did this. She's a senior ESPN writer. She did the article. Now, let me give you some specific numbers, and this will surprise you a little bit. The ACC distributed a record $578 million to its members in 2021. The SEC distributed $728 million. $721.8 million in the same time frame. Here's the other part, and this is where it's starting to get sticky. Florida State contributed roughly 15% of the ACC's media rights deal. Hey, how you doing? Pick up that envelope that says, Tim, I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for coming in today. Appreciate the effort there. The big manila envelope. Glad you got up. It sits right there on top of my desk. Yes, that thing would have bit you. It's okay. Thanks for waking up. Hey, have a great day. Florida State contributes roughly 15% of the value of the ACC's media rights deal, but the school only gets 7% of the distributions as one of 14 members in the conference. Now, currently the ACC distributes its revenue equally among its 14 full-time members, which means Notre Dame doesn't get that. But the conference decided to look at a different uneven revenue distribution model after recent conference realignments had Oklahoma and Texas leave for the SEC, and Southern Cal and UCLA joined the Big Ten. There's been speculation that the bigger brands in the ACC could be next in line if there's another wave of expansion. And that's where I keep saying it's going to happen. Get ready. You're going to find the top 25, 30 brands in the country are going to separate from everybody else. They're not going to play by NCAA rules. They're going to have their own set of rules. They're going to negotiate their own deals. And every school that's inside of that group, they're going to bring equal to the party. So if they split it like the NFL does, if they split it, it's completely okay because they're all bringing an equal contribution pretty much to it.
It's like any team, right? Let's just take football, for example. If you've got 9 or 10 guys out there that are just killing themselves, and you have that one guy that's not doing what he's supposed to do, okay? A lot of times those 9 or 10 guys are going to take care of the one guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, hey, bro, pick it up. We're going to have you shipped out.
Yeah, that's right. And that's okay.
Or at least if you're if if the goal is to be the best that you can be, you need
Yeah.
to be the best you can be.
That's correct. Now,
Same
let
thing in
me
this.
take a final time out, and then we'll come back. Got a couple other things we'll touch on just a little bit. Combines coming up, some other things, free agency a couple weeks down the road. And
Flag football.
next, baseball, baby, baseball.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stiefel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stiefel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back. Get back and catch some comments. My wife is awake.
Good morning.
She was chiming in. Let's see what she chimes in about. Let me catch us up here. Now, Milton did say when he's talking about Goodell, he protected one owner that got caught in the cat house, and one owner that he didn't protect that got caught in the cat house, which was my biggest problem with Goodell. Rich said it's a lot more than that. The way of grant of rights is structured. If a team leaves, they forfeit all their television rights money back to the ACC. So whatever they would make from the new conference would go back to the ACC until 2036. They're going to work all this out. I'm just telling you.
Well, no, who said that?
Richie.
Oh, yeah, Rich is right. But what happens is they take it to court, and then they keep kicking the can down the road till settlement comes in. But he contract law will kick in.
Here's the other side of it.
He is right.
Richie said the only way out, as I have seen discussed, is that doesn't financially break someone, is they have to have 8 teams, a majority of the teams,
to dissolve the league.
Dissolve the
right. Yeah, sure. And let me tell you something. You and I talked about this 2 and 3 years ago. The ACC had a chance to jump the Big Ten when the Big Ten decided not to play football. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the players like Justin Fields and somebody like, wait a minute, we got to play. I got a chance to get drafted this year.
Right.
But the ACC had a chance to jump, but because of whatever, they decided to just step back. I have my own thoughts and feelings about that are not going to be shared live.
I'll tell you mine. The ACC doesn't have the step-on-the-throat mentality to do what it has to be done to protect its rights and its teams.
They had an opportunity to take the next step.
They couldn't do it.
Because their selling point should have been, look, when the world went crazy, we stayed focused. We did, the things that we were asked to do while still providing a service to you, our clients, and the ones that go out and produce for our universities. That's why you shouldn't go anywhere else but come here. SEC was smart enough to do that. The SEC didn't have to overtake the Big Ten. They already have. The ACC had an opportunity to say, we will not cancel football on you. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
My wife said, preach for Rembert.
They didn't do it.
I feel as an instructor we need to reward the students who go that extra mile and not just focus on the ones who need that extra hand. You can do both. Let me tell you a quick story, and Richie can probably testify to this because Richie was one of my students when I was teaching in college. I had a very simple thing. When I would go over my syllabus at the first class, all of my tests were online tests. You could go in and take them anytime you wanted to. I did not require attendance because most of my students were not just college-age students. They were working adults, family, children, displaced workers, retrained workers. They had another life, and they were trying to figure out, how do I make it in the world? My job got sent to Mexico. Okay?
Completely understand.
My thing was, here, I am here for you, okay? If you don't need me, I don't need you. But I'm here for you, okay? And if you don't need to come to class and can read the book and take the test and pass the class, rock on. However, if you don't come to class and you get to the end of the semester and you need help, you're screwed because I'm not helping you.
Well, you didn't invest
because you didn't invest anything. That's exactly right.
No, that's right, yeah.
But the other promise that I made was, if you're a student and you – thank you, Richie. Richie said he hadn't lied. When you come to my class and you struggle, you will not fail. That's period, because you're giving me effort, and I'm going to reward you for that effort.
But something will come from that effort. I think that's the thing about the numerical system and grading. You have to be able to
quantify.
Lessons. Well, that's true, but you got to be able to quantify things. But at the same time, the holistic experience of learning and then being able to apply the knowledge that you have, been able to learn and decipher and build upon is what's most important. And I think that's lost. Like, how many people have we seen in a college or high school setting, all right, in a higher education level, have all these merits and degrees, and this kid does this, and honor graduate that and everything, but yet when they get out, they can't even
function.
Yeah, I mean, they can't even go up to someone and say, good morning, do you have the time, or good morning, is it supposed to rain later today? I mean, just can't speak to people, can't, you are so right in your approach. Because what it does, it puts the accountability back on them. You're not pampering.
You're not learning anything if you don't accept responsibility.
And that's it. And everybody learns differently. And I think what you did was allowed flexibility within the learning environment, because you have visual learners, you got learners that can hear things and learn auditory.
Correct.
And then you have kinesthetic learners, right, that do both, and then you have to show them, which that is me.
I'm okay.
I want to see it, I want to hear it, but I want to do it with you. That way I know how to do it, then I can apply it going forward. Yep. Everybody's different.
Sure.
And that's so important. And, I can think back to my college days.
Just like athletes, the same way.
And that's what I'm saying. I can think back to my college days when I had professors that were fully invested in me and adapting to the way that I learned while still maintaining the integrity, the quality of the class. They did that. I mean, even if it was a class of, 30 or 35 kids, not biology of 250, that different world, but the best coaches I had were the ones that made that interconnectivity where they weren't expecting my athleticism to be the greatest thing on the planet. They were expecting to be able to fully develop me, mentally and physically, to be the best I could be for the benefit of our team. And that is where all of this is gone awry. I mean, it's gone array. It's gone crazy.
Yeah. And you're right, Richie. Rich said, I think there was another statement that I made talking about me. He said, I expect you to do your job. If you do, you'll be okay. And that's basically it. Just do what's expected of you.
Right.
You're not going to fail because that's the way the world should work. Todd said he had a professor tell me one time showing up was worth a C. It was a geological class. I had perfect attendance. There you go. Well, I mean, basically, I just said there is nobody in this class would fail if you came to class every day and gave me effort and tried.
Yeah, and you really can't.
And then the other thing was,
you really can't.
And they made this change, and I know it made my wife mad, but I fought it the whole time. They wanted instructors to withdraw a student from a class if they missed X amount of days.
Yes.
I didn't do that because I don't know your situation.
Right.
Now, if you get to the end of the semester and you hadn't shown up and you thought I dropped you, no, you got an F. That's the way that works because I didn't take you to raise. That was your job to drop the class, not mine. I don't know what your situation is.
Yeah, there was a guy. You're right. There was a guy that I had a class with. He was from Durham, I believe, somewhere in the Durham area, and I just remember he lost a grandparent. He lost, I want to say, like a sibling, something, and then he had something wrong, like with his eyes, where he had to have like immediate surgery. I mean, it was just all these things happened at one time. And I had a couple of classes with him. It was in general college stuff. I think I had like just randomly, which is crazy because you never really had class with the same person, right? But I think I had I'm just giving an example, like a biology class had like 250 some kids in there. And then we had an anthropology class that only had like 18. The anthropology instructor was absolutely okay with everything that was going on. He made his work up. He did, and she let him take the final exam like a week later because of his surgery. He failed biology. Failed it. He had 80s on his test scores, maybe a 70, maybe but averaged out about an 83. I remember this like it was yesterday, but he missed too many classes.
You can't miss too many classes.
And you say, with 256 people, how do you know if you come in? Let me tell you something. Before the Scantrons and all that stuff, you had a sign-in sheet, and you had to put your Social Security number, and then you had to sign your name that you were not signing for somebody to be there that wasn't there. Well, he's not a dishonest guy, and he tried to go talk with the professor. The professor's like, you have to come to class regardless. This is college. Now, the guy had lost 2 people, and he had to have surgery on both eyes. You tell me there's people starving not only here in the U.S. but around the world, and we're worried about,
See,
I mean, come on, really?
I just I don't get it.
No.
I just don't.
Somebody's
don't get
institutionalized.
Yeah.
It's never been off college campus. Therefore, they're not. They're
they don't understand what the real world is.
They're numb to things that happen to people that are out and about, away from the institutional setting. They're institutionalized, and that's probably the best way to describe that. And behavior that's like that. It's institutionalized behavior.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, dude. It's like any kind of institution. There's certain behaviors that go on.
Now, the other side of that is, if I didn't see you all semester, and you came to me at the end of the semester with this list of, well, this is what happened. Sorry,
he didn't do that.
You can email me, you can call me. But, communicate with me while it's going on so that I can make adjustments and know that you're out there.
How about this? This is what it is. I walked up there. I say I walked up there. I was there near him, and I knew him. We were playing ball together there. So, but he had a lot of things going on. Crazy time. He walks up, and I'm sitting near the front. I saw him walk up, tell the biology teacher, I The guy said, well, that's just see my graduate assistant. 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you, our experiences, not only to what happens to us, but others, tend to mold us and how we function, in the world, right, with the expectations we put on ourselves and maybe on others for accountability reasons. I mean, it's crazy some of the stuff that's going on in institutions, especially in educational settings. I mean, it's insane. I mean, the hiring of people to do the right thing for right reasons for kids is secondary to hiring people, in my opinion, that make the job easy for the people doing the hiring. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you got coaches being hired to coach sports that are going to golf trips and missing practice and doing all these things. I mean, it's insane, dude.
I'm looking for people.
And that's not okay.
I'm looking for people that are going to help those that they're responsible for grow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And you talk about this. And,
I don't blame the people going on trips.
We've said this before. We've said this before.
Hiring.
The biggest thing that I want to accomplish, if somebody works for me or somebody played for me or somebody was a student under me, it's not about these numbers at the end. It's about, are you better when we finish than you were when you came in?
Yeah.
If you're better, if you have more knowledge, if you're more responsible, whatever, if you've been provided if you're in a better place when you live, Oh, breaking news! Richie said ESPN just came across Derek Carr is going to meet with the Panthers.
Told you, dude.
That's awesome. Good morning,
I think
Penny.
we all kind of felt that was a good chance that would happen because of who the head coach is. Okay, and then what Derek Carr, who is, to Coward's point, right, a smaller school, I say smaller school, quarterback from maybe not one of the premier colleges, right, that has got some skin in the NFL, and a lot of good things. Now, listen, what I said a minute ago about people, that are being hired to coach like high school sports or whatever that take off, I'm not blaming those people for going to do the things that they had planned or going to do, okay? That's not what I mean. I'm blaming the lack of standard that is set on behalf of the kids that is supposed to be representing.
Correct.
Because people don't want to have people in positions that challenge them. Years ago, I applied for a baseball job down in Charlotte at one of the high schools down there that's near a golf course that starts with the M. And anyway, and it came down to me and an assistant coach from St. Andrews College. Now, I'd already coached college baseball, won a state championship, these kind of things. My players won it, I just coached it. But the point is I had a lot of experience even at 33, 34 years old, right? 32, whatever it was at that time. And in the interview, the AD, who was the former baseball coach, along with the principal, asked me, he said, when you're in the stretch, do you like the slide step or do you like knee to knee going to the plate by your pitcher? I was like, well, when we started talking about stuff like that, I knew I wasn't in the right place. Because that's like talking about, it's Garrick's point to Tyreek Hill. You're talking about stuff that really doesn't matter. It matters in the moment, but not in the overall process of what you're trying to do.
I don't even know baseball, but you know what my answer would have been? Whatever makes my kid most efficient.
And that's what I said. I said
care less.
It's whatever the player's maximum strengths and abilities are within what we're doing. A guy said, well, I just like the knee-to-knee better because I said, hey, you know what? You're talking about basically product and not process. And when you're not around – like you can't be successful worrying about an individual product, which is like talent or an execution of, right? You have to be focused on the entire process and how that product can survive and thrive within the process. And so I knew I wasn't in the right place.
You're trying to make
terrible too because of the amount of Division I, like ACC and SEC talent that comes out of the Charlotte area for baseball and drafting guys. Like there's a good chance that I may have had over the next 5 years, if I'd taken that job, I would have had 8 to 10 kids that either were probably 3 or 4 that would have been drafted for sure, because I know 2 of them were probably 3 or 4 player development, and then another 8 to 10 playing ACC, SEC baseball and being starters from day one.
The biggest thing is you were more concerned about what you felt was right instead of what was right for the kid.
Well, right, but and I agree with that.
I'm talking about from their standpoint.
No,
that's
I
what
completely
they want to do.
agree, and I think that a lot of times lack of life experience or head in the sand keeps us from realizing the full potential of the process that's being done. It's like when people say, "Well, so and so's faster." It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't fall. No, yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter because everything can be built within the process, right? You don't need your Ferrari can't just be an engine only. It has to have aerodynamics. It's got, you know what I'm saying, your race car, right? Whatever. There's all components that make it be the best it can be. And dealing with people like that is very, very difficult, especially when it's supposed to be at a higher level. And, Lanny, the guys you played for in high school, even the college coaches, you had really good ones. You maybe had some that either weren't very good or had no business doing it, okay? That's fine. But it's those experiences that you saw and learned from by watching others having failures and successes on your part that molded you in to the successful person that you are and want to be every day.
You got to learn from both sides.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Your failure's our greatest teacher. And you say, why am I ranting about it? Listen, everything is based on quality and value. And in the sports world, our topics are derived from lack thereof most days.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of problems that are very simple with focus.
Yep.
Quality and value.
Okay, baseball Thursday. My bad. I didn't get to the baseball. I wanted to get to baseball. You know how I feel about the game.
I
love the game.
I think Thursday I'm gone.
Okay, Friday. Yeah. Friday, mark it down. Baseball's coming up. Have a great day, everybody.